Hey, Sean, if you're anything like me, you're constantly tweaking your setup and changing things, and maybe it's acquiring new gear, maybe it's repurposing existing gear that you already own. And I've talked about my lighting setup, no shortage of times here on my YouTube channel, but I wanted to go through my quarantine lighting setup and the two priorities that I have with it. So what you need to know about me is that I'm recording these videos in my home office slash studio slash our living room where we watch TV. And this is actually also our guest bedroom when we have people here when we're not socially distanced. Because of that, I have two priorities right now with my lighting setup that are important to me. So number one, I want it to be lean. I don't want to have to get out a ton of stuff. I want it to use less stands, less lights. I just want to use less to make a good looking setup, something that looks polished. And to do that, my setup right now is 3 lights. I have the Quasar 4-foot rainbow Q50, and then behind me I have 2 daylight Quasars lighting the seamless. And that's it. And then I've got window light coming in, but without the window light, it's just a little moodier. I feel like it's a little darker on this side. So with this lean setup, I have 3 lights and 5 stands if you include my tripod and the boom. I have each of these backlights, or these Quasar 2-foot daylights. These are each on their own light stand, and then I have a 4-foot Quasar Rainbow Q50 set on daylight with a just diffusion panel about 4 inches in front of it, and that's my entire key light, and then I'm getting fill from the window. With these 5 stands, it's really easy to set this up and take it down. And for somebody like me who I don't have a permanent studio right now during this, I want to be able to set it up and take it down. It matters to me that I'm not having to, an extra stand, carrying it from wherever you store your stuff and setting it up, it's just extra time, and that gets in the way of me and creation, and anything that does that, I have disdain for. So this setup is really lean. But the other thing about this setup, which I like for professional applications as well, is it's small. And what I mean by that is, historically, for a lot of my shoots, I've used aperture lights with big light domes. And I know my videos lately have skewed a little anti-aperture and pro-quasar, and you don't need to hear more about that. But one of the things that matters to me is depth. And a lot of times, I have to shoot in places where I don't have a ton of room. Where I don't have a whole lot of depth behind the camera. I'm up against a wall. We're in someone's office or a conference room. We're in these situations where we have limitations. And so anything I can do to save space becomes very, very valuable. And so when I have a single source hard light, like one of the apertures, I'm left with, I need room. I need room to let that light diffuse. And yeah, the Light Dome Mini's kind of small, but it still gives a harsher light. I want something that's soft and professional that doesn't have a lot of space. And so this setup right here, which my key light is the Quasar 4-foot rainbow with just a Neewer $25 diffusion panel in front of it hanging on a single C-stand, gives a really soft light because the light itself is a soft source. It's a huge source. But I'm about 3, I can touch it. I'm touching it right now. I'm not that far from it. It's roughly in line with the camera, but the big thing is there's not a whole bunch of space behind it. I could put this up against a wall. It's actually up against a couch right now, but it may as well be a wall, which if I had, a 3-foot softbox on the front of this thing to let my light expand, that just is depth that I don't always have. And so this setup right here is lean and mean. It's giving me all the soft key that I need. And I could live with one of these or put one of them as a hair light or do something like that. I like the look of the seamless background right now. And that's what I'm going with. But my main thing here is my key and how little room this takes. And another thing you can do, they make panels that are soft panel. Dracast makes, I think they're called Silk. It's like their Silk line, Silk lights or something like that. But Dracast makes these lights, and there's a few other, and there's knockoffs that make them, where it's a whole panel that is already softened. And it's not where you have individual LEDs, which can cause a different experience of light to hit somebody. But it's a smooth source, and it's handy, but for me, that's the balance between control and a lack of control. And with a bar light, I'm able to still cut it down and shape it a little bit better than I would be able to an actual soft source. So it's more flexible for me to use one of these tubes than it would be to get a big soft panel. And so that's why I like this setup, because I can do more with it than I could if I went with a full soft panel or if I went with a hard single source light. This is lean and mean, and I know I keep saying that, but every day I fall a little deeper in love with these lights and what I can do with them. So try it. Try some of these things. They're not that expensive. Let me know what you think. If you have thoughts or suggestions or things that you do with your own lights when space is an issue, throw them in the comments. I'd love to know what else other people are doing. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.